Alright guys, how y'all doing today? I wanted to do a video. I'm going to start this new segment where just to show what's possible with options and go over certain plays that happened that day, kind of like a overview of what happened that day and some of the bigger plays. I just wanted to do today, I'm just going to do it on one Nvidia and kind of talk about that. So as you know, Nvidia made a huge move today, down from, man, I wish I would have been in it, down from 92.50 up to a high of $97. And if you would have played the stock, you would have made a measly 5%. You made 5%. I mean, I guess you could say that's okay. I mean, pretty good for playing a big stock like this. But what if you wanted to? That looks like a big move. What if you wanted to make more? You could have played the option, and I'm going to show you in a second how much money you could have made. I'm talking crazy amounts of money, and you don't have to have a lot of money to play it. This, if you wanted to play the stock, you would have had to have a lot of money to make anything. In a second, I'm going to show you where you didn't have to have much of anything. So anyways, for about the last 6 months, Nvidia has been the trade of the year. That and AMD, we're starting to see, we got all these electronics. That's the new talk of the future, is all these electronics and in your cars and your phones, and they all need processor, they all need video cards, and Nvidia, they've just been in a steady uptrend for the I mean, look at this. Back in February, it's from a low of $24 and we're coming to $92. I mean, same with AMD. I mean, AMD's went on a crazy run. Look, from $1.75 back in January to a high of $10. I mean, they've both just been on a crazy run, and it's due to all these new graphics that's coming out. Well, back here on 11/11, we had the earnings gap up. It gapped up from 71.50 to 78.64, and it's pretty much been on a run since. Kind of consolidated here, came back. This would have been a perfect time to enter as it came back and touched these moving averages. If you notice, when things come back, they come all the way back to the moving averages. Well, it went under the moving average, but it reclaimed the 20 moving average right here. It came underneath the moving average right there that day, and then it reclaimed it and pushed back up and stopped right as it reclaimed the 20, and that's a very bullish sign. And you could look to get in on something like that. You could have looked to either get in at the end of that day, as it did gap down, but it went on a run, or you could wait, to the next day for confirmation. But for you guys who like to swing stuff, that's a when I swing stuff, that's kind of what I look for. That's a very bullish sign for something to kind of reclaim that 20 like that. And as you can see, kind of made a perfect little flag pattern, came down and then went on another run, came down, and then today it went on another run. It kind of came down, came down, it kind of hung on that. Notice it broke below the 20, but it couldn't stay under it. It just couldn't do it. It came back and reclaimed that 20, and that was all she wrote. Once she came above that 9 today, that was a good opportunity. I wish I would have been looking at it, because if you can see, she came up and she gapped up right over the 9. Right over the 9. And that was an A1 setup. And she been on a run. Now, what's in store for later? Now the next trade on this would be, the next trade I would be looking for on this is you're either going to want to let it consolidate, come back down and consolidate and touch the 9 moving average, come back down and kind of touch that 9 again and bounce up off of it to go back up, or we can be looking for it tomorrow. There's 2 ways you can play it. You can wait for it to come back down and test these moving averages, or tomorrow, if it can break the high of this, of where it closed at. It pretty much closed at the high. Let's see, the high of this candle was 96.62, so it broke it, but it couldn't really stay. I guess we'll see. It kind of fell back under, but tomorrow, if you can break above this high, then I think we might see another run up. You know, I would say if tomorrow it breaks out on high volume like it did today, notice the volume on this compared to yesterday. If tomorrow it can break out over that high, like over this today's high on strong volume, I think we could see maybe another, maybe another 2 or 3 day spurt or something. You know, you might get a little red day in there or something that might go up a day and consolidate and go up again. But I think we could see another spurt. So that would be the two ways I would be looking to play that, guys, because you're kind of, if you notice, you're kind of in a channel right now. You kind of, well, let's see, you kind of like, you got your high right here. And then, you kind of got your bottom channel right here. So you're just you're kind of in that channel bouncing around. Notice bounce comes up and it can't really get through that channel. So for now, you either want to see it be able to cross this channel, this high, and break out, or I would wait for it. It could do this again. It could come up to that and then come down and touch these moving averages again before it gets the strength it needs to really break out. So we'll see what happens, guys, in the future. But let's take a look at how you could have played this today. All right, so notice for the past few days, it's just kind of came up here. And like I said, it's been in that channel. It reached the highs up here, then come back down and come back up to the highs, and I guess we'll see what's going to happen. But so today was a good day because it kind of, as you've seen it in those channels, it kind of would come up then come back down. Well, it came down, and now it kind of bottomed out here on those moving averages on the daily. And then yesterday it kind of perked up a little bit, kind of showing signs that maybe it was ready to run. Well, this morning, in pre-market was a good sign. It did gap up. And then also it claimed that 20 moving average. That 9 moving average. For me, that's a very big, strong indication that that's a very good thing. So you see that, and let's say you wanted to play this. Let's see what would be the best way for you to play this. Okay, well, if you wanted to be safe, you could play at the money. But if you really thought this thing was going to go on a run, you could play something like, let's say, the 95 or the 95.50 calls. What if you wanted to be a little more risky, and you could make some really good money. And these options weren't that expensive. Now, if you played the weeklies, if you thought it was going to make that move and you played the weeklies, so you can come over here and you can play the December 16th calls that expires. Today's Wednesday. It expires this Friday, guys. So you only got 2 days. So you need this move to happen today. So it's kind of a lotto ticket. But today, alright, so the 95.50s, you come up here to the 95.50s, and I'm going to pull a chart up and show you what they did today. Alright, so here, let's see, here's your 95.50 calls. Now they opened up today at 30 cents, guys. So y'all do the math. You could have bought 10 contracts. Remember, it's times 100. You could have bought 10 contracts. No, okay, so you could have bought, yeah. Okay, so yeah, guys, remember, it's times 100. So 10 contracts would have been 1,000 times 30 cents. So you could have bought 10 contracts for $300. So, I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh, well, these stocks are too expensive. No, they're not. Not if you play the options. I would never go pay $90-something a share for a stock. And if you don't have $300 to invest into something, then you probably don't need to be trading anyways, because that's really not, and I'm not trying to say that offensively, but you're better off saving up more money until you have a little bit of money you can work with. Because, but hey, maybe you only had $100. Maybe you wanted to buy 5 contracts for $150. But either way, you can see that this thing went from 30 cents up to $2, guys. $2. That is, I don't know, 500% or something. 800% it made today. Look at that. 800%, guys. 800% you could have made. So if you would have invested, let's say you invested $1,000. You would have made $8,000, guys. It's 8 times your money. So all you guys who don't have a lot of money and you wanted to invest $300, maybe you wanted to invest $300. Well, your return would have been about $2,400, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but as you can see, these options, they move quick. You don't have much time. You don't have a lot of time to get in them. I mean, it's all about time, and you have to get in quick. Because before you know it, look, you're paying double within the first, 8:30, first 30 minutes. In the first 30 minutes, you were already these things had already doubled your money, guys. Already in 30 minutes, you doubled your money, and you could have easily walked away after that. You could have doubled your money right here. From here to here, you could have doubled your money and walked away. Now this would have been a 1% move in the stock, a little bit of nothing. So that's the type of money I'm talking about that you guys can make with these options. I mean, if you were to invested, maybe you were to invested $1,000, you could have made $8,000. I mean, that's best case scenario. But let's see what the at the money option would have did today. If you were going to play it safe and you wanted to play, let's see, 92.50. It opened up around 92.50. So let's say you were going to play the 93 calls. All right. Yeah, you still would have done pretty good. You still would have made 200%. It went to high. It says 400% here, but let's see. It went from so you could have still made 400%. That's playing at the money, guys. That's taking it way more conservative, and you still would have quadrupled your money. I mean, even if you would have got in here, got out here, you could have tripled it easy. I mean, this was easy. I mean, without a doubt, I know you're not going to buy it at the low and sell at the high, but without a doubt, this play was easily double your money, 100%, or even triple your money, 200%, easy. I mean, that's playing conservative at the money. You could have played in the money, if you want to see what in the money does. So I'm just trying to show y'all in reference of what different strike prices can do and how you can play these things and what the different type of money you're going to see playing these different types of options. So let's say you wanted to play the let's come down here and let's say you wanted to play the 90 calls. You wanted to be super conservative in the money. They went from about $2.50 to $7. So you still had a chance to make double your money, a little less than about double your money, 200%. So that's now y'all can get an idea of what these options will do. You go more out the money, they're gonna pay out more. You play a little conservative, then hey, you're not gonna get as good a return. But I just wanted to show y'all what is possible with options. Let's see what else made a big move today. Amazon or Google, they didn't. Nvidia is on top of the list. I mean, you got that's some kind of, let's see. All right, gapped up. Nothing really made a huge move today. Nvidia made a huge move, but guys, I don't think this thing is done. Like I said, it's in this channel. The next play, the two ways I would play this is you're going to want to wait till this thing pulls down to the moving averages to get another run, or wait for confirmation for it to break this channel. You don't really want to play inside the channel. You want to kind of play at the low of the channel or the high for it to come back down. You don't really, now we're kind of in unknown territory. We don't really know what's going to happen. Maybe it bounces off and comes back down. You can play some puts tomorrow, but I'm bullish on this thing, so that's not something I would be looking to do. I would wait for the retest of the moving averages and then come back up. Maybe it hits down here at the low of the channel at down here at 88, 90 or whatever. So, but there y'all go. I just wanted to do a little overview of what happened today and the type of money that can be made on these options. Alright guys, y'all have a good day, and make sure y'all subscribe and like the page for more videos to come. I'm going to start doing this every day. I'm going to do a segment like this every day, and I also got some more education videos coming. You know, those are a little longer, take a little more time to do, and I got to edit them and stuff. So I got some more of those coming, but I'll continue this every day, and the education will be coming. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe and like the channel. Alright guys, I'm out.